my fellow FNAF fans. Today, I have a theory that has been floating around for a while that I have recently been thinking about a lot, and I now happen to believe. And yes, when I start this intro off, people are going to think that I'm crazy, like this theory is the next BV5th. But really, it's not even close to as far of a stretch as a theory like that. The theory is that GLAMROCK FREDDY is CASSIDY? However, before I start this video, a like would be appreciated, and even a subscription would be quite nice. Up to you, of course. I post FNAF content really often from a wide variety of things involving cheats, let's plays, reactions, and more. If you want to be a part of that, get involved today. Hell, you could even help me out by joining the Discord server in the description below. And heck, you may even influence some of my content as well. But anyways, enough promotional stuff, onto the video. So the first thing to bring up is probably the biggest piece of evidence for this theory. The stuff that GLAMROCK FREDDY says as he goes down to the Afton ending in the FNAF 6 location.
I know what this is. I have been here before. She brought me here. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I did not want to, but I had no choice. Now I have a choice. I have changed. My friends are here. They are so angry, confused. But I can protect you. I am not me.
First of all, I want to break down this voice line if it's in the context of Michael Afton. Most people thought it was Michael by the fact that he was possessed down there, but really, that's it. The only other piece of evidence, and I literally mean only, besides one other, I will get back to that, do not worry, is the voice line, "I feel you are broken." First of all, this line could mean anything. Sure, the original line was, "I feel you're bleeding," and it was changed, but this is actually evidence in my favor. Just wait. You'll see. I also want to draw attention to...
My friends are here.
Who? Unless he's talking about the Glamrocks, which, after thinking that was the case for a while, I highly doubt to be the case. The only other possible friend he could have done there is if you believe Fritz to be the Foxy bully from FNAF 4, which in my opinion is highly unlikely. And honestly, the voice line, "I have changed," and "I found myself for the first time," has very little connection to Mike. Plus, the evidence to suggest that Vanny brought him down there to be possessed by Mike is literally none. It's all speculation. Heck, GLAMROCK FREDDY could be possessed by frickin' Susie's dog if we apply that logic. Plus, if Vanny led GLAMROCK FREDDY down to get possessed by Mike, that would ruin her entire plan to bring Afton back. If GLAMROCK FREDDY gets possessed by Mike, it's bringing back an entire variable that could very possibly ruin her plans, since Michael had a rivalry with his father. There are also multiple other little tidbits of evidence that suggest why Michael isn't GLAMROCK FREDDY. For example, why doesn't he say anything when he Staffbot Afton table in Staffbot Silo, or Staftons, as my friend Tux would like to call them? I mean, yeah, it could be because there's no reason to add dialogue to that, but really, if you would add dialogue for GLAMROCK FREDDY when you go up to Bonnie Bull, don't you think that it would be as, if not more important, to add dialogue when he encounters the Staftons? Plus, don't you think he'd also say that William is his father during the boss fight? He doesn't. He barely even acknowledges Afton. Don't you think that Michael would have way more importance if he encountered his father for the first time in like 10 to 15 years? It simply just doesn't add up. Finally, the last thing to debunk Glam Mike is that he doesn't recognize the FNAF 6 location that he was in charge of. When you go back to the voice line, it's almost implying that it was the first time he'd ever seen the location. He talks about how he knows that Vanny let him down somewhere. He would know about the location and not act like he has never seen it. A lot of things simply don't add up, which is why I stopped believing Glam Mike quite a while ago. But anyways, got all that? Good. That's why it isn't Michael. So, on the contrary, let's start talking about my evidence for why I think it could be CASSIDY. Or, to a lesser possibility, Bite Victim, but really, that's a whole... some of the evidence applies to that, and some of it doesn't. But anyway, let's start. Evidence number 1, GLAMROCK FREDDY calls the Blob his friends. It's very heavily implied that the MCI children, plus maybe even the Save Them children, were friends of hers. While I don't have definitive proof of this, it would make sense from a narrative standpoint. However, if you look at the L-Chip ad photos from Ultimate Custom Night, the girl in the black hair could very well be CASSIDY, while the boy in the blonde could be Jeremy, and the girl in the blonde could be Susie. Something I also want to point out that I didn't necessarily include in my script, if you look at this image from the survival logbook, the one with the puppet, the only girl in the entire book is someone that looks heavily like the girl in the L-Chip ad photos, and because the whole book is kind of like centered around solving Golden Freddy, I don't think that it's a coincidence that the only girl that looks like the one in the L-Chip ad photos could very well be Cassidy. And yeah, this voice line connect to Bite Victim, I guess, but the only character to really be established to be his friend was Charlie and Cassidy, which I will get back into later. It's my belief, however, that all of the kids in the MCI were best friends. They went into the pizzeria together, saw each other get killed off, and continued to live on together inside the animatronics. Like I said, it makes sense from a story and narrative standpoint. Evidence number 2, she says she can protect Gregory. If you really think about it, her ability to switch between tangible and intangible states could be pointing us to the conclusion that she could protect Gregory if she was able to defend against Afton. It could also be the reason why calling Freddy will always result in teleporting close to you. Sure, the other animatronics teleport to attack you, but they were already in the same room as you. Freddy, on the other hand, could be in the frickin' daycare, while you could be in the loading docks, and he shows up in 3 seconds. So, if she has the power to teleport when you interact with GLAMROCK Freddy's coding with the Fazwatch, it could explain why she says she can help Gregory. We know that Cassidy has the power to stop Afton from being a problem, just like we see in Ultimate Custom Night. Evidence number 3, she talks about how she brought me here. Who is she? Vanessa? If we're being honest, it could very well be possible that GLAMROCK Freddy is pulling an Obi-Wan here. GLAMROCK Freddy went down there because he knew that Afton was down there. The reason GLAMROCK Freddy said she, however, was because she felt like he needed to defeat Afton in order to free Vanessa, just like we see in Princess Quest. So, as Obi-Wan would put it,
so what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
Evidence number 4, GLAMROCK Freddy could be helping Gregory because he happens to look like Bite Victim. I have not stated this recently, but I am starting to believe Gregbot more and more every single day, as it seems as though the theory is lining up with a lot of the dialogue and context. But that's a theory for a different day. I also don't want to get controversial with that, because I know a lot of people have differing opinions. But I also, however, believe in Golden Duo, and I have actually believed it even before MatPat had brought it up. I'm confident that the other spirit possessing Golden Freddy is Bite Victim, and if it is the case, Cassidy could be protecting Gregory since he was the underdog of the suit. Just like in the Stitch Wraith, there's one controlling the suit and one that can't. Cassidy can't control the suit because of her abilities, but Bite Victim can't. It could very well be her instinct to protect Bite Victim, since it could be implied that she did that with Golden Freddy. Her instinct to protect Bite Victim could also be a reference to Happiest Day, since Cassidy seems to be watching over all the victims that William has killed. In Happiest Day, every one of William's victims were set free, and Cassidy is at the far end, watching over every single child. Evidence number 5, the voice line,
I am not me.
Sure, up to this point, we associated that line with Golden Duo, and now it could be pointing us into the direction that Bite Victim is the other spirit possessing Golden Freddy, but this voice line could establish that it was Cassidy all along. Like I said, if the crying child was not able to maneuver the suit or anything, the only one making hallucinations to Mike in FNAF 1 would be Cassidy. Plus, in Curse of Dreadbear, in the Golden Freddy Easter egg, we see the banner that says, "It's me," which cannot be the crying child since his spirit would not be possessing the circuit boards. And if it is, what's the evidence? Plus, in Princess Quest, we see that Cassidy goes to the place of the Easter egg, implying that she was the one to possess the banner that says, "It's me." Evidence number 6, it's good from a narrative standpoint. The entire point of Princess Quest is about how it's Cassidy able to defeat Glitchtrap and free him from Vanessa's mind. So, because of that, I think it's very possible that the Afton ending is the exact same thing. Cassidy going down to find Afton to defeat him once again. I think this makes a lot more sense that Cassidy is defeating Glitchtrap with the help of Gregory, who is playing the arcade cabinet, so in the Afton ending, it does the exact same thing. Cassidy defeating Afton with the help of Gregory. It's almost like they could be both canon endings, but that's a theory for another day. Evidence number 7, the good versus bad Vanny ending. In the bad Vanny ending, we see that GLAMROCK Freddy's head is completely destroyed by the Nightmare staff bots. However, in the good Vanny ending, we see that the head is completely intact. To me, this is not an accident. Think back to every single jumpscare by Golden Freddy. And yes, I do mean literally every single one. It's a head. There is no full body attacking you. In FNAF 1, the jump scare is a giant image of a golden head. In FNAF 2, the jump scare is a head attacking straight at you. In FNAF Ultimate Custom Night, it's the same as FNAF 1, an image of a golden head staring straight at you. Heck, even in FNAF 3, if you believe Phantom Freddy to be a phantom version of Golden Freddy, it's just a head that comes straight up. So why is the head fully intact in the Good Vanny ending? Well, it's because it's symbolic. Like I said, if Gregbot is true and he is eating an ice cream that looks like Golden Freddy, then the head of Cassidy being right next to him is showing that both spirits were freed from their traps and are freed from the wrath of William. This is why I think that the Afton ending is canon. We see GLAMROCK Freddy and Gregory right next to each other, and unlike the Princess Quest ending credits, this one's actually animated. This seems to me that it's implying that it's a Golden Freddy reunion, I guess. That's the best I can explain it, and that's just a theory, but the fact that the head is intact and how Golden Freddy is often associated with a jump scare that is just a head seems to be a really important detail. And yes, I know someone is going to bring it up. The Good Vanny ending cutscene at the end of the credits. Some people suggest that each star that you get in an ending is the amount of Aftons that you save, or Afton representations, as I would say, and the Good Vanny ending is the only one that you save 3 Afton representations. This, from what I heard, is the only good piece of evidence for Glam Mike. However, I do have some skepticisms with this theory. Sure, in the Afton and Drive Away ending we have 2 stars, saving both Gregory and GLAMROCK Freddy, but it makes no sense why the Bad Vanny ending and the Fire ending have 2 stars. In both of those endings, GLAMROCK Freddy literally dies, and if you were to apply this logic, the Escape ending would have 0 stars, not 1. Vanny doesn't get freed, Gregory dies, and GLAMROCK Freddy stays trapped in the Pizzaplex. As for the characters on the hill, people have suggested that these are the Aftons that have finally had their rest. But really, this doesn't make sense, because Circus Baby seems to have her spirit resided elsewhere, maybe in Patient 46, but I don't want to get into that right now, and Michael was seemingly freed in the FNAF 6 fire. According to this theory, Michael has nowhere else where he is residing, other than maybe the Blob. While Gregory, if being a representation of the bite victim, would be freed by the end of Ultimate Custom Night when Cassidy goes into the virtual realm. This means that 2 of the Aftons have already had their rest, while the other Afton, Elizabeth, and maybe Michael, seems to have not had their spirits rest at all. And if you were to believe that Michael is residing in the Blob, then he is most certainly not saved. Anyways, that's my take on that piece of evidence, and really the only one I have a hard time explaining. So what do you guys think about it? Tell me in the comments. Evidence number 8, the Golden Freddy plush that you receive. Throughout the Pizzaplex, you have to collect golden plushes of every single animatronic to unlock the fire ending. However, there is something that is extremely sus when it comes to Freddy's golden plush. It is literally labeled as Golden Freddy. In a series where every single detail is laid out so important, if this is just an oversight, then this is just extremely careless. But it's not an oversight. It's to show that GLAMROCK Freddy is Golden Freddy. It has the spirit of Cassidy inside him. You don't just shove a random Golden Freddy plush to get an ending. It has significance. Something like this is not going to be random, especially in a series like this. Evidence number 9, Golden Freddy gave up torment for William. This is a little mini theory I had for a while, and I know my most recent theory video contradicts this, but this is what I have believed. When Cassidy realizes that William will continue to live on and stop being tormented, because you beat 4920 mode, she realizes that there is no end. So, the ending cutscene of Ultimate Custom Night is her giving up. She realizes that there is no end here, so she decides to take Old Man Consequence's advice here. Now I know what some of you are saying. In your most recent theory video, you stated how she was tormenting William for eternity. And yes, I did say that, but the context of the video is if FNAF 6 had just come out, and the man in room 1280 didn't retcon that. I think that Old Man Consequences was intended to be Henry even after the story had retconned it, so my theory still stands. But if you take this evidence in, it could very well be possible that Cassidy gave up torment for William so she could descend into peace. However, just like we see with the puppet, when your spirit is set free, the leftover agony seems to possess something else, and that's what I think happened with GLAMROCK Freddy and the Nightmare Staff Bots here. Also, of course, the circuit boards. I think that, when Cassidy gave up, part of her spirit possessed Princess Quest, while part of her spirit possessed GLAMROCK Freddy. Evidence number 10, the voice line, "I feel you are broken," does not come from Michael Apton. Yes, this voice line is directed at the bite victim, but if we go back to the scene where this voice line originates, that being the FNAF 4 minigame, there are multiple reasons why this line doesn't come from Michael. First of all, Michael Apton had lines in his gray text right before this line that, supposedly, MatPat had suggested came from Michael. This cannot be the case, since the text color completely changes, and we know how important colors of text matter in this series. MatPat has suggested that Michael had spoken through this text since the bite victim didn't communicate back to him, but honestly, this evidence is complete shit. The line is being spoken from a completely different character. For the longest time, I had believed that the voice line had come from the puppet, since she says, "I will put you back together." But after thinking about it for a while, it could very well make sense to be Cassidy. Let's be honest, it's very possible that Cassidy and bite victim were close friends. We know that the voice line is not coming from Fredbear plush because it's a completely different shade of yellow. No, I don't think the voice line is coming from the girl we see in the minigame, even though they have the same color text. I think it's Cassidy. If Cassidy had established that she had her powers, she could say to bite victim that she could put him back together by using her powers. This, to me, would make a lot of sense. And finally, evidence number 11. When you decommission Chica and upgrade Freddy with her voice box, his tie magically switches to purple. This evidence may very well be pointing us to bite victim as GLAMROCK Freddy more than Cassidy, but it works either way. What I find interesting about this is it could be pointing us to that GLAMROCK Freddy is Fredbear. They're one and the same. Back in Fredbear's, who was the character who was absent from the band? That's right, Chica. Monty and Roxy didn't exist back in the Fredbear's Family Diner days, so it makes sense why, with the absence of Chica, now being destroyed, that Freddy would revert back to the time that existed without Chica. Sorry about that. And, obviously, Cassidy seems to have a strong connection back to Fredbear, being the only other victim of Golden Freddy. While I don't think they're the same suit, I do believe in Goldadoo, and Crying Child being the other spirit connects Cassidy back to Fredbear. Anyways, is that a stretch? Yes. But you know what isn't a stretch? What room do we find the stuff to lure Chica into the trash compactor to destroy her? That's right, Bonnie Bull. The one character that actually performed alongside Fredbear back in 1983. Could it very well be possible that Bonnie intended for Chica to die in the trash compactor and the Monty mystery mix was the solution? I mean, Chica is playing Bonnie's signature item for the band. I don't know, but tell me what you think in the comments below. But anyways, we have reached the end. I am very confident that Cassidy, or bite victim, is GLAMROCK Freddy, and I really hope you are too. I hope the evidence was convincing in this video. Sorry if I don't upload as much right now since I have a few problems that I'm currently going through, but don't worry, I'll still be making content, just not as regularly. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.